Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob, and welcome to the Epileptic Gamer Podcast. And I can finally say it. Episode 20. Holy shit. Hallelujah. Where's the title? I mean, wow. I would not have thought. Who would have thought a year ago? This, before we go into it, I had Ryan, who's still here with me, if you want to say hi.
What's going on, guys?
This wasn't supposed to be called the Epileptic Gamer Podcast. It was not. We initially had someone else on board, including Ryan, all of which fell through. That led me to lead the charge. This went through 5 different name changes. And it landed on Epileptic Gamer. And here we are, a year and a half later, at 20 episodes. And we finally get Ryan on. It's a miracle! It turns out miracles can happen. So, let's get into it. I'm sure I'm going to piss off a lot of people by saying this. Is Microsoft failing? I think they are. And I am only showing this by cold, hard opinions, facts at the same time. I think, and this is from my vantage point, them acquiring Activision Blizzard was a last shot. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you have a huge name, 2 of them, in that list. Diablo and Call of Duty. Those are 2 big names. And it got to the point where it was so big, PlayStation even called out Xbox and protested, at least I believe, protested the purchase. And it got delayed again, so they went to the UK, which is a true story. I'm laying out the timeline here. They go to the UK. UK apparently files a lawsuit, or something happened to the UK with a lawsuit, to see if it's even possible to happen over in the UK. Because I guess that was I don't know. I don't know where they're stationed. So let's assume they're stationed in the UK. And they apparently say, okay, everything's good. That's the last I checked. So now we're here now. We're on the brink of Starfield coming out next year. Is it next year?
I think it's next year.
So, and we have Xbox Series X coming out, which is already out. PlayStation just jumped it. And like I said earlier, they changed the game. I'll say it once, I say it again. That's a game changer with Project Q. When that comes out, that's not a Switch contender. That's not a Xbox contender. That is an accessory. That's a new console. That is going to change the damn game. But I'm off topic. Microsoft, in my opinion, shot themselves in the foot when they acquired Activision Blizzard. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because Call of Duty, besides the past 2 years, as last I checked, been a reskin. And you gave me the thumbs down. It has not been good. And Diablo 4 is coming out, so they got that going for them.
I've heard the media campaign is going really well. I've seen the trailers. I've seen the commercials. It looks like it's going to sell. But here's my thing. Like you saw me lipping earlier, the last few years for Call of Duty, this is coming from a Call of Duty fanatic. To be fair, I haven't played Vanguard or whatever, but...
You don't want to play Vanguard. We don't talk about Vanguard.
We do not like this. We don't talk about Bruno. We do not talk about Vanguard. But the last couple years, except some outliers, we're talking like Modern Warfare, even some aspects of Cold War. It's been shit.
Cold War was good at the beginning.
It was good at the beginning, and then they did too much.
Yeah, they just had too much going for it, and then they were like, oh, well, shit, we probably overshot it.
I was going to say...
And the player face jumped.
I'm also going to make the controversial topic. I'm going to compare Cold War to the new Modern Warfare 2 game.
Okay.
Both of them did really well in the beginning. When the campaigns come out, when the first couple maps came out, it did well. And everybody, I'm gonna point this out because I'm a very big TikTok person.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 got so much fucking TikTok clout because of all the sound clips people were pulling off from the campaign. They
Ghost.
were getting...
That's called, I have to say, Ghost. Just Ghost and Soap being bros.
Indeed. Yeah, but they've gotten so much attention just by people pulling off these random sound bites, these random clips from the game. It's gotten so much attention. But, as like I said before, I could draw the comparison of these 2 games. They just did too much.
It did. And it's still good.
Modern Warfare 2 is still good.
It's not like Cold War where you can play it for like a a day and you're like, oh, wow, this is extremely overwhelming. I don't want to play this anymore.
Modern Warfare 2, you could play for a good 2-3 days, not feel overwhelmed. By 4th day, you're like, well, shit, I hate this.
I mean, it's not even that. I still play it. I don't play it as much as I used to.
I don't either.
But I will still play it. If there's a new gun that comes out, I want to stay on top of things. I'll hop on it to make sure I get it. But we're not talking about Call of Duty.
We're talking about how Microsoft is shooting themselves in the foot.
Yes, we're talking about that. So, this is the reason why Starfield's coming out. Can you name one other exclusive?
I mean, they got Halo.
Okay. That's technically not exclusive, though. That's on PC.
That's on PC. I can't think
One game solely on Xbox. And you cannot say Flight Simulator because that's also on PC. So, yeah. It's hard, isn't it? Even Gears of War, I believe, is on PC. Is it on PC?
It is on PC. At least the first 2 games are.
So, and yes, that's how I'm classifying an exclusive. If it is on PC or any other console.
It is not a game. Is not a console exclusive.
It is not a console exclusive.
I'm just going to take some examples. Spider-Man PS4, the original from Insomniac, even the sequel about Miles Morales. Those are PS4 exclusives.
Because they never went to Xbox. They did get ports eventually.
But
that's a port.
It took a while.
It took a long time. It was like a year or 2.
Even God of War started off as a PS exclusive. And to be fair, like with Insomniac Spider-Man, it did get ports.
Yes, it did. Not good ports.
Not good ports.
Not good.
Not good.
We don't talk about this. I can defer to back and talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, but that's off topic again. You guys can do your own research on that. Look up YouTube videos. They are very funny. But, yeah, so I can just think of Starfield. That's that. Meanwhile, I can take a list off of maybe 5-6 exclusives coming out now for PlayStation. Spider-Man. Wolverine. Let's say, wow, shit. I just put myself on the spot here.
I don't know if they're making a new God of War.
Wonder Woman.
There you go.
Wonder Woman. People forget about that one. That's the long forgotten game. And Last of Us Part 3. It's happening. That's why I'm including it. It's happening. If you're saying it's not happening, you're lying to yourselves.
Saying the show is willing to go to Part 2, which is happening, and Part 3, which may happen for the TV show, but
they're
it's
doing
happening
4
for the
seasons.
Game. They're doing 4 seasons.
So if they're doing 4 seasons, that tells me something that Neil Druckmann told the producers, here's what we got.
Saying they're getting this shit, like for the show, from the creator himself. They're not getting it from a secondhand producer. They're getting it straight from the creator himself.
Yes, Druckmann worked on the... Yeah, that's true. If you're getting it from the creator themselves, that means they have something big. And it's not multiplayer, bigger. And that means it's Part 3. You can get... If you want to talk about Part 3, go to the Part 3 episode. I have a big one about it. It was fun doing it. But, again, I can list off a shitload of exclusives. Sly Cooper never went to cons. Did they ever go? No. It's still on PlayStation. It might be in the PS3 dead era. Yes, I'm calling that out. It's 10 years old now. It's a vintage console. Do you feel old yet? Because I do.
I feel old. I still own a PS3.
So do I. Yeah, you feel old yet? So does the Wii.
I feel old.
Wii is now a vintage console. We just heard a squeak outside. That's why there was a pause. I'm sorry about that, guys. But so essentially, Microsoft, in my opinion, made a Hail Mary. They acquired Activision Blizzard for a shitload of money. I wish I had the number in front of me. But yeah, if you can look that up, that'd be great while I talk. But look up the games that are included. Because this is the first time I'm prepared for an episode, believe it or not. But yeah, they have so much going from in Starfield. And if Starfield doesn't do well, that's bad.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Microsoft. This is a direct number from the BBC.
Okay.
Which I know, kind of not a reliable source, but I mean, still, it's the BBC. $69 billion.
Well, that's actually one of the biggest of all time, right?
Correct. And to be fair, like you said before, they're getting the mainstays of Activision. We're talking like Call of Duty, Diablo. I wish I had a list of games in front of me. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to look them up.
Yeah, while you do that, I'm going to continue talking because, I mean, $69 billion, you don't throw around $69 billion for nothing. You don't. I mean, Activision Blizzard, isn't World of Warcraft an Activision Blizzard?
I'm looking.
I feel like it is. Or am I just thinking of Diablo again?
I think you're thinking of Diablo again.
Okay.
So some of like the mainstays for Activision. We're talking your Call of Duties.
Your Diablos.
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that one.
Spyro. The whole Skylander series, which for anybody who played Skylanders as a child, I played my fair share of Skylanders as a child. I loved it. We're talking like Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk Skater Pro, which I know those are dead series, but I mean still.
I mean, it got revived. Tony Hawk did.
They did, yeah.
So, I mean, it's around.
That is true. But
It's not around anymore, but you can get it.
But yeah, those are the mainstays that Activision sells that Microsoft is getting.
Okay, they got the rights to it, which is a big hit. And they got to the point where I brought this up before the episode. We started recording. Sony even said to PlayStation, well, shit, I mean, we're losing Call of Duty. That's a big... That was on PlayStation for 20 plus years? Maybe?
Ever since Call of Duty's inception.
Yes.
Which was in the late 90s.
And that's a Medal of Honor. You want to go old school. Medal of Honor was around when Call of Duty was out. That was competing with it.
Exactly. And Call of Duty just got the Medal of Honor. I mean, to be fair, there hasn't been...
Who's the last man standing?
That is true.
Yeah, it go down last man standing, and it's Call of Duty. And they say, okay, well, yeah, you're right. We'll give you 6 years. That's not good enough. No. I understand you own the rights, but let's fast forward 6 years.
Rights are up.
Rights are up. Okay. Yeah, for PlayStation. Xbox still has them. And they're going to, if they're still in business, and this is why I'm saying this now. We have seen throughout gaming history, you can let me take over if you know anything about this. You will chime in, Ryan. We've seen throughout gaming history that companies cannot last on just exclusives. Sega Genesis. I had multiple conclusions, yes, but Sonic the Hedgehog had nothing to Mario. Look his last standing here. Mario made $1.3 billion in the box office alone. So if you can get Sonic's numbers for me, that'd be great. But then you have the Atari. The Atari had Pac-Man. It does great on arcades, but not on the console.
There you go. I got you. The original Sonic movie did $306.8 million at the box office. The sequel, $405.4 million. Now let's crunch these numbers, shall we? I'm no mathematician, but
pull up the calculator. We can just do that. So out of the billion that we've made so far, let's take away that, and we can. They didn't do well as Mario movie. Essentially, is what you're telling me.
So they only made, with the movies combined, if this is both U.S. and international, they only made $712.2 million compared to Nintendo's Mario, $1.3 billion fucking dollars. If this isn't a fucking wake up call to Sega,
which means that Sega's gone.
Sega is gone.
It's a reason why Sega's gone. That number there. I mean, yes, that's movies.
That is just solely movies.
That's movies. Games. We're not talking games. I understand that. And you're probably saying that to yourselves too. Why I talked about movies? Sorry about that shitty impression of a white guy. If you want to
go back to the whole, is there too many video game movies? Go back to that episode.
Yes. But we just did that one the same day we recorded this one. But, I mean, if Starfield fails, and the next few Call of Duties that haven't been announced fails, we're going to see in 3 or 4 years, is Microsoft still going to be around?
I have heard from sources about the next couple Call of Duties. I think we're getting one during the Korean War.
I heard that.
We're getting one during Vietnam, which, I mean, to be fair, we've had our fair share from Black Ops. Cold War.
Is Cold War Vietnam?
It took place during the 80s.
But was it in Vietnam at all? I didn't play the campaign.
There were a handful of Vietnam flashbacks.
Okay, so yes, technically.
It took place technically during the Reagan administration, which was during the 80s.
Alrighty, so we'll put that as a technical.
A technical, just because there were Vietnam flashbacks. But Black Ops, the original, took place during the Kennedy administration, which I'm trying not to get political, but it took place during the Kennedy administration, which was in the 60s, and that's when the height of the Vietnam War was.
Yes.
So technically you could say it took place during the Vietnam War. But we are getting a solely based game about the Vietnam War. We're getting one about the Korean War. I heard they're talking about doing a World War I game.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. They're going to step on Battlefield.
That's Battlefield's territory.
That is Battlefield's territory. Because Battlefield did it so well with Battlefield 5, which I know some people hated Battlefield 5. I never really played it. I only played a handful of the campaign missions. But they did the World War I setting so well.
And if you want to go back to my first episode, I talked about Battlefield 2042.
And how it imploded.
It did. Go back over a year and a half ago. Very first episode. Talked about that. And that was me struggling. We've come a long way since then. Which is why I'm bringing that up. But, yeah. At the end, if Call of Duty is still doing the rinse and repeat cycle, Microsoft is shit out of luck. Because Crash Bandicoot, they're releasing Crash Team Rumble. Which I pre-ordered already because the beta was a shitload of fun. And I think people should... It's one of those games that you can't watch. Which is unfortunate. That's why I think they should have like a 2-hour demo for everybody. Not just PlayStation Premium. But that's not the way we live now. Unfortunately, I had to pay $120 for that luxury.
Damn.
Yeah. Unless you're in UK or Canada, which is like 160.
Damn.
It's 160 Canadian, I believe. Yeah. So, but that, and thank God we live in the US, but at the same time we don't.
Capitalism.
Capitalism, don't you love it? Let's get out of the politics area.
We're stepping too far into politics. I'm worried we're going to get flagged and swatted.
Yes, let's not do that too far. Let's stay away and go back into Microsoft territory. I know I sound like a broken record, but I do think this might be it. This is it.
This is their Hail Mary pass.
If you don't, like you just said, we just did an NCAA football episode, so great reference. This is their Hail Mary. If they don't catch the ball at the end zone,
And
Microsoft is done.
They're
That
dead and buried.
and this is perfect because we're at the 20-minute mark. We're at 17 now. We're gonna make this 20-minute episode. This is my hot take, and this is probably my hottest take of the entire podcast. Within 4 episodes, maybe within 4 or 5 years, Microsoft isn't a thing. They will not release a new console. I think PlayStation just screwed them over with Project Q. And that is just my honest opinion. That's my honest prediction. Every console's life cycle is 10 years. Unless you're the Vita.
Unless you're the Vita, which will last eternity.
Well, I mean...
Well, mostly eternity.
Mostly eternity. It did well in Japan. We don't talk about the ones over here.
But, I'm going to say this. Let's look at this from PlayStation's point of view. A European company is willing to take a developing company off your hands for 6 years. Microsoft's thinking, oh, we're getting a big acquisition. We're going to be a step over PlayStation. But then PlayStation's thinking, you know what?
We just realized that we're losing 6 years of a decent amount of money.
But then I'm just thinking of it. They're like, okay, let's see where Microsoft takes it.
Let's see how this goes. Almost.
Exactly. If they burn out, we can just take them back. Which, to be fair, it's going to be tough.
It's not easy.
It is not easy.
We're talking business, and we are not businessmen. Look, I am 26.
And I am 18 going to be 19.
Yeah,
So,
we are not businessmen. We do not know how this shit works. If you're a businessman, feel free to leave a review and tell me that. You'll be my first review from what I know. But, yeah, I mean, this is one of those areas that is tricky to talk about. At the same time, it is the most interesting thing I've ever talked about. Because you think about it, and this is the true story, PlayStation now owns the patents to PS6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They have it on lock. They're planning for the future.
They're planning to be around here for
A long time.
A long time.
So if we think about that, if it's a 10-year life cycle, what, 50 years? Right?
Yep, about 50 years.
Yeah, so if my math is right. And then again, that could be as a precaution. We don't want some random guy on the street snagging up a PS6. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I can go to the trademark company. Yeah, we don't want that. And that's a almost shit. And they could always buy it off them.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I remember when one time Spyro the Dragon came back, there was someone that owned the domain name. The developers reached out and said, "Hey, we'll buy this off you." And the guy sold it to him. It was. I mean, that's you just buy it off them like that. I mean, money solves everything.
Money does solve everything.
Money solves everything in business when it comes to this shit. Which is why I think this is the downfall of Microsoft. They're throwing money out the window. $69 billion. That is from what I'm being told, at least around, as of recording, which is June 4th of 2023, the biggest gaming acquisition of all freaking time. If you're not telling me that's a Hail Mary, you cannot tell me that. I mean, you see, okay, they acquired, so-and-so acquired Bungie, they acquired 343. That's a small studio. I mean, yeah. We see studios get acquired all the time, and that way it's easier for them to get developed, and they have more developers to go around. It's something like that. Mortal Kombat, even as they were in Game Informer recently, released an interview saying when they did Mortal Kombat versus DC, it was the worst mistake of their lives. They almost went bankrupt.
And
then Ed Boon came out and said, "Wait, why are you guys clearing your offices?" Well, because we're leaving you, and a bunch of people on, and the people that Midway wanted to cut got cut, but the people that Ed Boon loved and knew that he loved the Mortal Kombat series, we now know as NetherRealm Studios. So, if Midway, who was a arcade company for a decent amount of time, can fail, if Sega can fail, if Atari can fail, Microsoft.
Who's to say that Microsoft can't fail?
Who's to say Nintendo can't fail? I made the joke before we started even recording these 3 episodes. Nintendo, I am convinced, could go bankrupt right now, and they'd have enough money in anybody's vault. Their hidden vault that we know exists, and they'd still be fine. They'd probably be able to bail themselves out. I mean, it's absurd how much money Nintendo gets. They probably just ran their, 1.3 billion. They probably just paid off their entire employees. Tenfold. I mean, they're set for life. And speaking of Nintendo, off topic, you see the creator of Sega, Sonic, he got arrested?
Wait, what?
I think it's 2 years for Sonic, the Sonic creator.
Damn.
I only brought that up because Sonic is on a Nintendo console. But yeah, the Sonic creator has got arrested for 2 years. I don't know what. I couldn't find the exact charges. But if you want to look that up, you can. But yeah, I think 5-6 years from now, we don't see Microsoft anymore.
Here we go, I got it. He was arrested in November of last year for allegations he traded in stock with privileged information for a significant profit. So he sold out certain information to make money.
Translation, he basically committed fraud.
Indeed.
I guess. That's a good way of saying it.
Back to this whole, if Nintendo were to, file for bankruptcy, they'd still be able to pay out their employees. Their net worth is $48.66 billion. So literally, what they made in Mario,
that's insane.
just the movie alone, is literally almost a 16th of what their net worth is. So they could literally pay out their employees with that $1.3 billion. Hell, they could probably pay each, I don't want to say each individual.
You got Nintendo of America, Nintendo Japan. You could probably cover at least a building.
True.
I mean, there's a reason why look at the Switch alone. You've released 3 models, and all 3 models have sold well.
That's true.
Nintendo's not going anywhere. It's a mainstay. They saved video games. And that's a true story. You can go back in history. Video games, they were in a decline. They released Super Mario. Welcome back. Thank God for Nintendo. But that's a little bit of gaming history for you. But yeah, that's my final and biggest, hottest take of them all. I don't see Microsoft being a big player in the gaming industry in 5 years. That's just what I think. I think the fact that they only have one major exclusive that we know about. They could have more. But that we know about. And here's a fun fact. Starfield was revealed in the PlayStation Showcase. And now it's an Xbox exclusive. I don't know how it got over there. I don't know how they got the rights to it, but here we are. PlayStation ain't getting it. So, that's it. I would, if you have any predictions, feel free, because we are now at the 26 minute mark? Something like that. Any thoughts?
I think, like you literally just said, and I made the football reference earlier in the episode, this is their Hail Mary pass. If they fuck this up, which I know they will probably fuck this up, Activision is gone. Microsoft, as a whole, you are done. Nail in the coffin. You aren't going to be in video games anymore. Because you know why? Because PlayStation is too much of a dog. They keep releasing exclusives. To be fair, some ports of games. But normally, their main profit is exclusives.
There's a reason why people go to PS5 a lot.
Exactly. Instead of the Xbox Series X. Because PlayStation is synonymous with both making ports of games and churning out exclusives.
I mean, I could go right now and list off about 5 exclusives that I have in my, what's it called? PS5 right now that we're about to play when we're done recording this. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a little celebration after that. But, yeah, if you have nothing else to say, I think we can wrap this up. What do you think? Anything else?
Microsoft is done.
You think Microsoft
They're
is done?
cooked.
You think? All right, that's a good one. I think. Take a word out of Doctor Strange. We're in the end game now. This is it. They're sacrificing 69 million. It's like you're taking one port out. Let's see how much you get in return, huh? Let's see how much the 69 billion was actually worth. Because that's going to be it's the biggest mistake of their lives, or biggest reward that you're going to reap for the rest of their lives.
And where we'll probably be proven wrong if they somehow manage to pull this shit off.
This episode's going to age terribly in about 5 years. There's no doubt about it. I will be more than happy to come back in 5 years and look at this episode and say, wow, we're really stupid. I fully expect them to be around, not in the capacity that they are now, but they're going to be around. I mean, Sega's still making Sonic games.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
But they're not making consoles.
No.
So, I think that's it. I think this episode is done. That's all we can say.
We have said everything that could be said.
Yeah, if I were to keep going, I would just be repeating stuff that was said earlier. So I want to thank you all. This was the final episode with Ryan for the hopefully not long.
I'm saying for the time being.
For the time being.
As long as we can line up our schedules over summer, I'm going to be returning.
Yes, we would love for you to come back.
I'm planning on returning.
You're always welcome.
If you're willing to have me, I'm willing to return.
You're always welcome here. This is so much fun to do. And thank you all for joining me. This was Jacob, and that's Ryan over there. You can say goodbye.
Later night, y'all.
You have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.